As it turns out, Nickelodeon had some skeletons, and I'm not just talking about Smitty Werberman Jensen. No. Nickelodeon had some perverts working both on and off screen. But how much trouble can come out of a children's network named after a theater where men took peeks at naked women? So I just binge-watched Quiet on Set. As someone who used Nickelodeon as solace from being this unfortunate-looking kid, and as someone who is not easily shocked, it was pretty shocking. It was so disturbing that I actually had to go dig up pictures from my first trip to Orlando just so I could feel that magic again. There's me with SpongeBob, with some all that props, Slime Time Live. Remember Pick Boy? That's awfully close to Pickle Boy. I can't look at those the same way again. And for some reason I wanted a picture with Arnold, and Jimmy Neutron decided to photobomb. There's also one I couldn't find of me in front of the slime fountain. I reached my hand out into that fountain just to, try and get slimed, and some of it landed on my fingers, and it was just water. And that is when I realized I just was not a smart kid. I was stupid. To think an obvious liquid could be slime, and I always thought the log from Ren and Stimpy was just a joke I was too young to get. No, the joke is, it's not a joke, it's just stupid. Yep, good times. And now for some not so good times. So what did we learn here? Well, first of all, I think it's time to forgive Drake Bell. I think some people are calling him a hypocrite for talking about this abuse when he himself had some allegations against him. If Louis C.K. can win a Grammy after getting canceled, we can forget about what Drake did, which was blown out of proportions, probably. And if people want to blame Brian Peck for Drake's, ladder behavior, okay, go ahead, no one's gonna defend him. Except James Marsden, of course. To go through all that with a guy named Peck, and then to star in a show with a guy named Peck, it had to be painful the whole way through. But now I've also heard from people who blame Dan Schneider for Amanda's kind of downfall. But you can't do that. Amanda doused a dog with gasoline. You can't point fingers at this guy for shit like that. If Amanda Bynes goes to jail, she is responsible for every single dancing lobster that gets brought in. Honestly, they should have brought in the dancing lobsters for several criminally unfunny Amanda Show sketches. Nope. I am not watching any clips. I know a lot of people are going to say I'm talking shit about their childhood when I say the Amanda Show wasn't funny, it was just downright fucking stupid. But then again, your childhood just got a huge dump taken on it with this documentary. So maybe what I'm doing isn't really that bad. I just don't have many fond memories of Amanda Bynes, and probably part of the reason, and we can blame Dan Schneider for this, is she was just shoved down the throats of every child. Give her own show. Okay, but then she stays on all that after getting her own show. They played both the shows, and Nickelodeon reran the Amanda Show ages after that shit ended. Then Dan makes a whole nother show with her on another network, What I Like About You. And they ran ads for that on Kids WB, and Kids WB is where I went to get away from Nickelodeon, so I don't have too much, so I don't overdose on Nickelodeon, I'm a kid. Amanda Bynes became like that aunt that comes to visit and you can't get away from. But I actually did kind of watch that show just because Jenny Garth was hot. That's what I liked about that show. That's all I liked about What I Like About You. So more about all that. I actually sent in a tape to all that when they were doing their Search for the Funniest Kid in America show. Now I can say I'm glad they didn't pick me. But my conscience is saying that's a lie. If there's bullying on set, I got bullied at school for free. Oh, but it's from that annoying redhead. I always got mean older sister vibes from that girl. The newer all that could have used me, and that's not me being conceited, that's me telling it how it is. There are World War II movies funnier than this era of all that. Not just Jojo Rabbit. Still, in this special, I felt for a lot of these people. I actually wish we could have heard from more of them. Especially from Chelsea Brummett, because I thought she was hot. She's older than me, I can say it. I do kind of wish they'd covered classic all that just a little bit more. Wasn't there a girl on the first season of all that that was physically abused on set by her mother? They didn't talk about that, did they? And one of my favorite cast members was Danny Tamborelli. And there was always this running gag that the other cast members treated him like crap. It would have been nice to hear him say, "Oh, it was all a joke, I was in on it. It's okay." And Katrina Johnson, who did appear in this special, She was that squeaky voice girl that got a lot hotter in the second season, and then at the 10-year anniversary, she was like magazine centerfold hot. Yeah, it was very nice to see her again. She says here that Amanda Bynes took her spotlight. This girl deserves everything Amanda Bynes got.
Katrina would never douse a dog with gasoline, and she sure wouldn't roam the streets completely naked.
That would be quite a sight. When they brought up those on-air dares, like, so many memories came back to me. Like, I remember two in particular. Chelsea had to cover her face with cow snot, and then there was another one where she had to drink an overweight truck driver's bathwater. Is it just a coincidence that they got the pretty girl to do two of the most disgusting things? Dan! But another thing they didn't mention about the on-air dares is how obviously fake a lot of them were. One of the later dares I remember is two of the contestants had to eat earwax tacos. And the earwax, first of all, it's gotta be illegal to make minors eat other people's earwax. But the earwax was so obviously nacho cheese. Eating nacho cheese and tortillas and nothing else, that's already disgusting. Like, why do you have to lie to children over what the yellow secretions are? Like I said, there's some stupid kids. Likewise, I don't think you can make a minor drink a filthy adult's bathwater. I mean, that's gotta make her physically sick. If not from the dirty man's secretions, then because children are told from a young age that they're not supposed to consume soap. Now, that one moment where they mentioned Cousin Skeeter. I never thought I'd see Cousin Skeeter on an HD TV. That show got kicked to the wayside, never to be heard from again. And I loved that show. I was so excited to see a picture of Skeeter and then disappointed because, you know, that means something happened on set. I'm sure Skeeter was not the perpetrator because Skeeter is a puppet. I am begging them to put this on Paramount Plus. I wanted to hear what happened, but they just blew it off, I guess because Dan was not involved in Cousin Skeeter. Someone dodged a bullet. Speaking of forgotten kid shows, there's this part in the documentary where they show like the Nielsen ratings, and there's so many like kids WB shows. I was beside myself, but then I felt bad because this is a sick documentary. That's how this show felt as a whole. It brings you up to cloud 9 and then slaps you in the face. There's a disclaimer that says this will destroy your childhood. That is an understatement. It would have been nice if we could have heard from Jeanette McCurdy, but I guess she wrote enough about it. I won't riot. I'll just have to reread the book. Making me pick up a book? Yeah, I think I will riot. And none of the cast of Victorious was there, but I'm sure none of those girls were in any trouble from Dan because, like, Ariana Grande was already rich. She could afford a bodyguard. Probably got bodyguards for all the girls because those were some pretty hot girls. They're my age, I can say it. And sorry, not sorry, that's like 7 girls I've called hot in this whole video. You'd think I wouldn't learn anything from this documentary. But believe me, I did. I'm just being attacked by the mischievous little kid I was. Emphasis on was. Nickelodeon is nothing but a memory now. Not a day goes by that I think of Nickelodeon. But check out these cool pants I just got. You know, I didn't really watch Victorious, but I did see this one episode where they had like tight dresses for all the girls to put on, and they kept asking like how Elizabeth Gillies gets her boobs in them. That's not even being subtle. They need to monitor these shows. That's how Ren and Stimpy's creator got fired. But yeah, if you watch Nickelodeon like a madman or a mad kid, I guess, like I did, I definitely recommend checking this out. Think I'm gonna be off pickles for a while. And now Dan Schneider's speaking out after watching it, but remember, he was in several sketches and in the Good Burger movie, so he is an actor. And if Nickelodeon is his alma mater, he's probably not a very good one. He lives in guard-gated Hidden Hills, California. We attack at dawn. Who's with me? But one thing I can take away from this show is that all these actors, they gave up their childhood so people like me could have one. It had faults, but I should be grateful. And now I can't joke about the Nick Cannon show being the worst thing Nickelodeon's ever done. And I'm sure by now Nickelodeon's done a lot worse than the Nick Cannon show. I'm just showing my age there. Oh, and I guess after this aired, Ned's Declassified, the actors have a podcast and they joked about it, and then they apologized to Drake Bell. How is that show still fondly remembered, but Cousin Skeeter is just this suppressed evocation? But if you don't mind, I have a very special guest. Oh my god, it's Cousin Skeeter! He looked a lot bigger on TV.
Skeeter's the one for me. He knows how to get down, knows how to party, baby. All the girls love his style. Skeeter drives us wild with his fly profile.